Well, good morning to you. Welcome to another Expert Alert, another a wet, rainy Expert Alert. I'm Jim Tabor, your host. This is where we bring in experts from around the Gulf Coast and different businesses, sharing information about their products or their services that they provide. And for the past year, we've had, of course, the pleasure of having Bradford O'Keefe to come in actually and talk about the world that they deal with as far as pre-need sales, information for making those kind of decisions a lot easier for you. Justin O'Keefe, sales manager. How are you?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's good to see you. Thanks for swimming in today.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
It's kind of rough out there. One of the things that we've talked a lot about pre-need
Yes.
in the past, and one of the things that you wanted to share with us today is the veterans planning guide that y'all have and information for veterans, because we have a lot of veterans that have they probably have came down here and retired down here.
Right.
So and you have information on the cemetery and the National Cemetery and everything.
Yeah, well, yeah, thank you, Jim. Well, I tell you, my father, he was a World War II veteran.
Awesome.
And so we've long believed in the veterans services for all of supporting our country and everything. And so we want to support the veterans as much as we can and do everything we can to help them secure all the veterans benefits they can get on their behalf, and which are a lot. And of course, my father, being a World War II fighter ace, one of the youngest ones,
Really?
and received the Congressional Gold Medal.
That's awesome.
We have always been a long proponent of standing behind our veterans and helping them.
Mm. And of course, there's information that they may not know. I mean, especially if they move to this area, what kind of benefits do they get? Especially when it comes to being buried or interred at the National Cemetery in Biloxi.
Right, that's correct. And the veterans benefits at the National Cemetery are quite lengthy and quite a bit. I mean, you can get upwards of $20,000 in veterans benefits for both, cemetery lots, because you get not only the lot for both the husband and the spouse of a veteran,
Yeah.
both qualifies, and then you get the opening and closing of those graves, and then you also get the vault that goes in the ground, and you get the marker for both the husband and the wife, and the United States flag, and the presidential certificate for the veterans' service to our country.
Mm-hmm.
And we have this form right here that we can provide to anyone who wants this. In fact, they can call you directly here
Mm-hmm.
and leave a message, and you can get them this information. I can get the information to you and so forth. But what this is the application of for pre-need determination eligibility for burial in the National Cemetery. Now that can be, a full casket, it can be a cremated urn or so forth, and so we apply for all those benefits with this form right here in advance before death has occurred.
So I guess it depends really on the service that the time they spend in the service, and then to see exactly what kind of benefits that they qualify for.
Yeah, so as long as you have spent any time in the service and been honorably discharged,
Right.
both the husband and the spouse, or the spouse and,
My
and
father
the
and
husband.
mother are there too, because my father spent 20 years in the Air Force.
Yes.
So they're both interred there.
Right, and my great grandfather's there also. He was a 4-star general in the state of Mississippi.
Wow.
Yeah, and so he's interred there also.
Mm-hmm.
And we have also this veterans planning guide for the veterans that has quite a bit of information in it. Different benefits that the veteran can get, all at no charge, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
And that's what I love, is helping our veterans and our families get as much benefits as they have, but they deserve.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, you and I both know there's nothing free in this world.
No.
I mean, the veterans have earned every bit of this. And what the problem is a lot of veterans don't know what their benefits are.
And so the great thing about this Veterans Planning Guide is, if your spouse, again, is a veteran, it has all the information in there that you can go in and fill out about their life and everything. And so, I guess it would help out too with writing the obituary.
Right, exactly. And not only that, the Biloxi National Cemetery, located right here in Biloxi on Veterans Boulevard, well, they service all of South Mississippi from Jackson South over into Louisiana and Alabama. All the funeral homes and families
Okay.
use that cemetery across all lines for all veterans. And so with that being said, a lot of times people will ask us, well, hey, I mean, is there going to be enough space? And so this morning before our meeting today, I talked with Albert Maxwell Jr., who is over the Biloxi National Cemetery. He's the new acting director. And he mentioned to me that right now they currently have available over 5,000 cremated remains burial spots, both in a columbarium and in ground burial.
Okay.
And that next year they're going to build an additional columbarium that will hold another 3,000 cremated remains. And he said because of the expansion and development of the National Cemetery, right now they have over 10,000 spaces available for in-ground burials.
Wow.
All at no charge to the
Right.
veteran, because they earned that for their service to our country. And so, which is really amazing. And so I tell you, I have a debt of gratitude for all of the veterans in our country
definitely.
that give us our freedoms that we have today. And you know, and so whenever someone goes into the military and serves for our country, as long as they get out, I mean, they may serve 1 year, 2 years, it doesn't make any difference. If they have an honorable discharge, we can use this form to pre-plan and get their information to file for their military benefits.
I was going to say, and exactly find out how much the military is going to pay for that.
Right,
And
exactly.
everything. So it is a great benefit for them, and it takes a lot of the worry off of them, and especially, you know, if you plan this ahead of time, you plan this, as we said, you know, your pre-need plans, it really saves you a headache come, you know, time for, you know, if there's a sudden passing or something like that, you've already got it planned out.
Yeah, that's correct. That's absolutely correct. And a lot of people don't realize also that the veterans are eligible for benefits outside the National Cemetery for burial benefits. And so, you know, you can get a veteran's marker that you can be placed in a private cemetery, and you know, either a granite marker, a bronze one, or whatever the veteran wants. And so there's a lot of benefits beyond the actual Biloxi National Cemetery that are offered to the veteran.
Now, I'm sure there's a lot of families that have their so-called family plots in the public cemeteries or a private cemetery, whatever, that, you know, yes, you know, dad was or mom were in the military, but we want them to be in this family situation. So that's where this comes in to help them out.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, you know, the infrastructure that is set up to support and help the veterans, and especially in this area. Because as you mentioned, you know, with Keesler Air Force Base being located right here on the Gulf Coast, well, tens of thousands of airmen have come through here over the years and been trained, and a lot of them move off and go into battle and then end up coming back here to retire.
Right.
And so we have an extremely large veterans contingency on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and we're here to serve those veterans.
And of course, there are so many different ways, as you said. You mentioned, you know, in-ground burial there, or you know, want to do, you know, the cremation. You know, there's different different ways that you can do this, and this you know, of course, this Veterans Planning Guide, again, you know, it's got all kinds of information in here to that you can fill out. You know, your newspaper notice, memorial instructions, and these are all things that you at the time of the, you know, sudden passing, you might not think about.
Right.
You might
That's
not
right.
think about. Where have you got it all done ahead of time? It's you know, it just takes the pressure off the family.
Yeah, and you don't leave benefits on the table that you've earned. And that's one of the saddest things is, you know, whenever somebody passes away, and then, you know, down the road they're feeling like, oh my gosh, you know, well, I could have used the National Cemetery and saved a bunch of money. But nobody communicated that to them. And so that's why this is also important to the veterans.
Definitely.
And, you know, a lot of people don't realize some of the local funeral homes here are owned by a Canadian firm, and so when they spend the veteran money at that firm, it goes to Canada. It doesn't even stay in this community. But Bradford O'Keefe has been here for over 157 years, supporting our veterans.
I see the billboards.
Yeah, yes,
They look great.
And we continue on.
Justin, thank you so much for being here with us and sharing this information. Again, if you want some information on that, you see the phone number on your screen. Be sure that you give them a call and set up an appointment. They'll be glad to get one of these packets to you if you're a veteran, or if not, make your that final planning a lot easier for you. Join us again next time, another edition of Expert Alert.
If you have a question for any of our experts, go to WLOX.com and click on Expert Alert. For a list of any of our upcoming experts, go to WLOX.com and click on Expert Alert.